Amazing, amazing. And I think we've had some really good questions so far, and I really wanted to ask you to spend some time to think a little bit more about it. But we're going to start to shift the context of the conversation a little bit because we've been talking about networking so far, which is almost like this broader net of people that you know and people who will, maybe pass you a specific brief or piece of work that might get you your first step into the industry. But eventually, you'll make that first step into the industry. You'll get your first job. You'll maybe start out as a freelancer. You'll find an industry that you want to pursue, and then you're inside. But then there's the next step, because I mean that's not where your learning ends. You might eventually want to become a mid-level, senior, team lead, and whatever it might be. And there are going to be people from that network who are maybe going to form a smaller circle around you. And those are the people who are going to mentor you. Now, I know mentorship is a very difficult subject, just because it almost feels like there are no rules. There's no mentorship manual where you go, chapter one, page one, go and talk to ABC, ask him for this, D and F, and then you'll get your mentor. And so I want you to think a little bit first about one of the questions which we passed over to our.
Explain what mentorship is? Because up until you were very passionate about it, I had no idea really what it is.
Okay.
What it actually
Yeah, what it
Yes.
actually is.
That's a very.
I'll quickly swap mics. Really important.
I'll sort of just project my voice a little bit. I think mentorship is a little bit of a difficult, as I sort of mentioned, because it doesn't really have a firm guideline or definition. It's sometimes difficult to clearly outline what it is. And so the company that I started really focused in mentorship. And one of our speakers, Sabiha, was gracious enough to allow me to test a lot of the theories and the research that I was doing around this topic of mentorship. And so I think I kind of came to this understanding that you can first sort of think about mentorship as having a line down the middle. And on the one side, you have what's typically called, or what might be called hierarchical mentorship, or the typical relationships that we have. That's your manager, that's a parent, that's a teacher. It's sort of one person who knows more, who is capable of more, and who generally is giving to the other side. But I always felt like because that was the only definition out there, it didn't leave room for the types of relationships where it's not clear who knows more. I mean, if we think about the relationship that Stephanie and I have, like, I mean, we've both roughly been in the industry for the same amount of time. We've taken very different routes, grown up in very different environments, but every single time we chat, there's a give and take. And so it kind of introduces this different form of mentorship, which I've sort of termed peer mentorship. And it's this relationship where two people who both have something to teach each other go through this give and take process. And by doing that, both become more and become more capable. And one of the reasons why I was so focused around this is because of my background. So I'm going to cut this story super short. But I eventually dropped out of university. My only qualification is a 3 month degree or a 3 month certificate with red and yellow. That is the only qualification I have. And I realized that if I was going to be able to do all of the things that I wanted to do, I was going to have to find a different way to teach myself. And the way that you can do that, that doesn't require money, that doesn't require an institution, are the mentors and the people who are going to teach you. But now, those are also the people who don't have time. The people who can't necessarily just drop a message on WhatsApp and they're ready to chat to you. And so this idea of peer mentorship started to grow within me. And so I think along my career, I eventually came to the realization that as much as I've been blessed with good managers, people who have contributed the most to my own personal development are the people I've partnered with. From Steph, Taz being my housemate, and to many other people back in Joburg. And so I think when you start to think about this question of mentorship, and as we open the floor up to this conversation, I want you to think really specifically because it might be literally the person sitting next to you who you start your business with. Literally. As in, your family will eventually be supported by the person who is sitting next to you. And so when you think about it in that lens, it kind of puts a whole new light in the potential of the people sitting around you. And so I think if I had to define mentorship, I think it's the process of giving and taking value and expecting nothing in return, but being grateful for whatever you're given. And I think, the podcast that we've started together, this event itself is really evidence of that. And so I'd like to open the floor again to mentorship. I-
You mentioned that the person that you might start your business with might be next to you or in this room. My question is, it might not necessarily be next to us, but in front of us. Is anyone on the panel? Is anyone on the panel willing to give mentorship to any of the students in this room? And specifically to
Putting us on the spot.
I'm very open to it because I also value it so much. I overthought the fact that the word mentorship when I was in law school. I was like, it's going to be this shining light that's going to tell me what to do and how everything's going to work, instead of looking or just asking for help straight up. So I'm very open to mentorship. I mean, I'm very early in my career as well, but we'll do it together, just chat. I also actually did a little course at Red and Yellow. If you're into digital marketing, that's what I do. Or you talk about the luxury industry or anything you just want to chat to, 100% very open to that.
Can I just add though?
Please,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, like, I think mentorship is really about a shift in perspective, right? I think um, when you're seeking mentorship, you're seeking clarity, right? Because like when we're caught up in the eye of the storm of these projects that we're building on like by ourselves, right? There's a lot of different people's advice that we're following on YouTube, right? We're following 10 different people on YouTube, and we're trying to take all of the different advices, and then we kind of incorporate it into what we're doing, right? Instead of trying to really narrow that down and really identify like maybe 3 people or 2 people that really resonate with you, right? I don't think mentorship has to be a physical thing. I think there's a lot of mentors on YouTube that give on a daily basis, right? I think what I said was it's really just a shift of perspective more than anything. And I think what gives a good, profound perspective is really just experience at the end of the day. So identifying someone in a position where you would like to be and just kind of picking their brain to be like, this is where I'm at now, this is where I want to go. Can we chat and figure it out together how we can map a path for me to get there as well, right? This is what I've learned, this is all the things I've done, this is what I've accomplished. How do we map the next stage, right? And I think that really is just about streamlining the information that you can bring, getting rid of the noise, finding clarity in the eye of the storm, right? And I think that's really what mentorship is about, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to come from a peer, it doesn't have to come from a superior, it can come from someone online. But I think that's what we want out of mentorship is just a fresh perspective on how we can move forward. So just identifying the people that you relate to, the people that you connect with, the people that you resonate with, right? So even just me like learning Web3 for the past 4 or 5 years, right? There was a bunch of different people talking about Web3. And to be honest, like out of the 10 people I was following, I was like, 8 of these guys just, I don't understand the way they explain it, right? Until you find those 2 people where you're like, okay, this person is making the penny drop, right? And that then now automatically eliminates all the other 8 people who are just noise, who are just adding noise to the project that I'm doing, right? So yeah, it's just about streamlining the information, getting rid of the noise, and just finding clarity in the eye of the storm more than anything. Yeah.
Can I also add to that?
Yeah, please.
Sorry, we started like. I think also never go looking for a mentor. Sometimes it'll actually come really naturally. I had the privilege of having a mentor who it's the traditional aspect of it when I was studying, but I had 2 other mentors when I worked at Ogilvy. They still don't even know that they were my mentors. So I had the opportunity of working, and they're extraordinary creatives who have made massive waves. Steph would have had the opportunity, it's Archie and Son. They are incredible people, and because of who they just were as humans, they became mentors because they taught me so much in such a short period of time. So you'll be very surprised at who your mentor might be. You might not even be looking for them, and always remember that one day you might be someone's mentor as well. That's what's really profound, is what you learn is going to be so valuable to someone one day.
Can I add to that too? Because I think it's a very good question, and she was bold enough to just to stand up and ask us, the so-called experts. So I can, because I've built my business from the ground up, if I can give you guys advice, if you want to gain quick experience, find a small company who you think is going to do something. I mean, it's kind of a bet that you're going to try and identify a company that has got potential. And I'm actually using my own company as an example. If there's no, let's say you've studied marketing management, right? Because a small company is always running on tight budgets. You can come in and immediately be the marketing manager. I mean, you're not going to walk into Ogilvy and all of a sudden you're the top brass there. You got to work your way through from the bottom up. But if you get into a small company and you find a founder that will truly teach you, which is, and that's how see business owners, how they should be. They should be almost like a father-son, father-daughter relationship with their workers, teaching his workers. And if you can find an owner like that, he will automatically be your mentor because he wants to fast-track you as quick as possible to gain as much experience as possible and you grow with the company. As you grow with that company, when a company is like, let's say there's a management of two, I've got a production manager and I've got a quality control manager and I've got a marketing manager. If you come in, let's say you are the marketing manager, there's no one above you. As soon as that company grows, you grow immediately with it, and everyone that comes in is below you. And that's a quick way to gain a lot of experience and at the end of the day, a very good paycheck because if you look after that owner, if he's a good man or a good woman, they would look after you for a very long time.
So, in follow suit, I'm going to quickly add to that. I was thinking about it earlier. Chaz was saying mentorship really is about just helping us get a fresh perspective or clarity. And especially in the situation that Lo was just mentioning, it can be really hard to think about a mentor in the traditional sense, someone that knows how to solve my problem. And I think the one thing that really helped me feel like mentorship would benefit me is to accept that the mentor you will have doesn't necessarily have the answer. It's not necessarily supposed to be a person that gives you the linear ABC way to go to solve your problem, but almost like someone metaphorically holding your hand through the discomfort of figuring it out and probing you, asking you questions to kind of lead you in a way to find that solution for yourself.
That's dope.
We had a question that was it answered? Okay.